This is the war report for November 15, 2021. There is intense fighting in northern Wello, Warilu. In western Wello, TPLF attempted to capture Akasta, but it was swiftly thwarted. In Badi, Ausabur, Air Force took multiple airstrikes on a compound, possibly killing rebel leaders. There was also an airstrike that killed TPLF leaders while they were in their vehicles. In addition, the Air Force bombed a TPLF and OLF camp, killing scores of rebels. The Air Force has also taken airstrikes in areas of Ligashimko, Microwave, and Tiklahayim Anat. In this airstrike, it destroyed 2 artilleries and 1 anti-aircraft gun. On the Afar front, on Saturday, 1,500 Tigray rebels and 7 rebel leaders were killed in Telelak and Due areas. There is still intense fighting in the area. Also, in Afar, ENDF and Afar forces have surrounded areas of Telelek, Sedima River, Kaba, Chekata, Bila, and Jarifa, and there is intense fighting in the areas. Near Kaba, a TPLF tank was destroyed. In Kasagita, 153 Tigray rebels were killed and 63 were captured. TPLF and OLF rebels have taken control of Ataye, Bait, Girbi, Balch, Senbade, 2 districts in Ephrata and Gittim. In northern Wello, Tigray rebels are camped at a school in Debiko. On Saturday, on the Gondar Telempt front, Tigray rebels that attempted to advance via Zarima have all been killed. In Lalibela, near Muja and Gadana, TPLF is sending rebels on Gilf Mountain and preparing position. In Alamata, a TPLF-appointed leader was killed by Amhara militias and Fano. In Shawarabit, local leaders creating panic by attempting to abandon the city despite no immediate threat. Thank you for watching and please subscribe. This is the war report for November 16, 2021. In western Wello, in Warilu, Sinyo Gibya, scores of TPLF rebels were killed and 5 rebel leaders were captured. Also, in western Wello, 400 TPLF rebels are camped 7 kilometers away from Akasta on a mountain. The rebels attempted to attack Akasta during the night but were swiftly thwarted for a third time. In northern Shoa, Sinbite, TPLF and OLF rebels suffer heavy losses and several of their trucks were destroyed. There is intense fighting outside of Senbade. In southern Wello, Badi, top TPLF leaders were seen in the area. Kimise city is being used as a command center where TPLF and OLF dispatch their rebels. In northern Wello, in Sodoma and Dere Roka, Amhara militias close main roads locking TPLF. On the Afar front, 50 TPLF child soldiers surrender to ENDF. In northern Wello, ENDF Air Force bombs TPLF positions in Tumuga, killing several rebels and top TPLF rebels were caught. In northern Wello, in Raya and Kobo, Amhara militia kill 78 Amhara agents, spies and collaborators that were working with TPLF. Also, in Raya and Kobo, Amhara militias and Fano are expanding their control and dislodging Tigray rebels from all areas. Several sources confirm that the rebels are using Amhara spies by holding their family members as hostages. In northern Shoa, Deber Burhan, TPLF spies were caught transporting arms. Also in northern Shoa, there is intense fighting in and around Ataye city. In northern Wello, Lalibela, Fano, and militias control Bulbila, Oz Katima, Shibsha, and Sarzan and Mikhail. TPLF is moving more rebels to Dibko from Lalibela. Lastly, TPLF rebels are surrounded on a far front in areas of Burka, Telelak, Kaba, and Bisdima. Thank you for watching and please subscribe. This is the war report for November 17, 2021. In western Wello, Warilu, after intense fighting, Tigray rebels suffered heavy losses and retreat. In northern Shoa, near Ataye in a place called Burkit, Tigray rebels are camped. Also in Ataye near Burgibi and Meskelpur, there is intense fighting. In Sinbete, TPLF and OLF rebels were thwarted on Shiwa Rabat Road and they fled to Adalela, in Afar region. The ENDF Air Force destroyed 12 TPLF trucks full of rebels that were heading from Kimise to Senbade. On Afar front, rebels attempted to advance via Kaba, Shaleko, Eliwe, and Senkel, but it was quickly thwarted and 2 rebel leaders were captured. Rebels are attempting to advance to Afar via Ligita area. Also in Afar area, Afar forces destroy TPLF and OLF rebels in Due area. The rebels took heavy losses in Bisdima and Kasagita. In northern Wello, in Akasta, there is intense fighting in and around the city. In western Wello Makdela County, rebels control Masha district. In northern Wello, in Daunt, Amhara force and ENDF control Ambit area, and while rebels are camped in Magat and Djela areas. In northwestern Wello, Amhara forces from Sodoma and Araroka kill 18 rebels and take control of Hara city. In Werbabu, Fano forces kill 6 rebels. In northern Shoa, rebels are camped in Ephrata Gittim near Chirkos church. In Menz, Tigray rebels attempted to capture Gausa mountain, but were swiftly thwarted. Having failed on the Afar front repeatedly, TPLF is now concentrating most of its forces in northern Shoa. Lastly, local Afar militias say TPLF is trying to move through Afar because it wants to break into Awash military prison, because that is where most TPLF leaders are imprisoned. Thank you for watching and please subscribe. This is the war report for November 18, 2021. On the Afar front, TPLF attempted to capture Kasagita and Shifra, but suffered heavy losses. Also on the Afar front, TPLF and OLF rebels attempted to capture Kalela and Due, but they were thwarted from both places and they have retreated. On the Afar front, near Kaba and Bisdima River, several TPLF rebels and arms were captured. Afar and ENDF forces are advancing to Badi and Burka. In northern Shoa, Tigray rebels are advancing via Meskel Bur and Senbade towards Shoa Rabit Road. Also on the road to Shoa Rabit, TPLF is advancing towards Tere and Yellen areas. In Malmey Dunir Menz, TPLF agents that were trying to cause panic and fear in the community have been killed. In Goasa and Joha there is intense fighting going on. Near Ataye and Chefergay school, scores of TPLF rebels were killed in hand-to-hand combat. On the road to Shoa Rabit, rebels were seen camped on Gabe Mountain and Sehai Migdua area. Sehai Migdua area is to west of Shoa Rabit. In northern Wello, in Dawn County, TPLF are camped at Hamyasit, Guder, Aganit, and Gigdua areas, and the rebels are camped on Guder Mountain. Also in Daud, an Amhara farmer is killed after killing 8 Tigray rebels that attempted to take away his rifle. In Magdala County, rebels advance and control Workay and Magat districts. In western Wello there is intense fighting in Akasta, Warilu, and Lagwama areas. In Wag Hamra, Dahana County, Tigray rebels that attempted to capture the city have been all killed. Locals in northern Shoa say TPLF's goal is to close Tarma Bur Road. Lastly, in northern Wello Gashena, there is sporadic gunfire. Thank you for watching and please subscribe. This is the daily update for November 19, 2021. On the Afar front, 8 Tigray rebel leaders were killed and thousands of rebels and arms were captured. In Talalak, Bisdima, and Kabo area, TPLF rebels were thwarted and the ENDF is advancing towards Burka. Afar force and ENDF controlled the Chifra to Kasagita road shutting down TPLF's advance. Rebels attempted to advance in areas of Kamami and Adar, but Amhara and Afar militias thwarted them. In northern Shoa, near Abot Sebel, outside of Shiwa Rabit several rebels were killed including 11 artillery spotters. On the Shoa Rabit Afar direction, there is intense fighting near the areas of Wisan Kurkur and Abai Nagaso. In Arasa Amara area, TPLF and OLF rebels take heavy losses. In Yellen town, Shinkurt Masa, there is intense fighting. Tigray rebels are attempting to advance via Kobo mountain in the area. There is also intense fighting on the road from Mintetiche to Turk camp. Near Goze Mosque, TPLF and OLF rebels were thwarted. In areas of Jijbit, Bilich, Juaha, there is sporadic gunfire. In Gwasa, near Kid Anamahara Church, the Air Force took an airstrike killing several TPLF rebels. Also in Gwasa in an area called Alpha, rebels are digging trenches. In Tere, Amhara farmers thwart TPLF rebels. Near Shiwa Rabit, TPLF and OLF rebels are camped at Goshbur school. In northern Wello, TPLF rebels control Warilu and Akasta, and there is intense fighting in Juramira area between Warilu and Dagolo. Lastly, northern Gondar, Adiarke, TPLF rebels shoot artillery towards Debark, but the shells fell outside of the city hurting no one. Thank you for watching and please subscribe. This is the war report for November 20, 2021. On the Afar front, there is intense fighting near Burka, where 15 trucks full of Tigray rebels were destroyed and several were captured. Also in the Afar front, Kabowa, Shaleko, and Bisdima, 142 Tigray rebels were killed and 22 captured. Near Badi, TPLF and OLF rebels are camped in areas of Janjaro, Kilahit, Kalfe Salte, Wahyu Falana, and Wahyu. In Badi City, a local individual that was collaborating with rebels in leadership capacity was assassinated. Outside of Shoa Rabit, Amhara youth ambushed and killed TPLF and OLF rebels near Gehebriel Tsebel area. Also, near Shoa Rabit, Tigray rebels are moving towards Mengus Terara area. In areas of Zudi, Karajijiba, and Turk camp. There is intense fighting. Near Jawiha town, rebels are camped inside a school. TPLF and OLF rebels are camped near Balch. Near Yellen, TPLF and ALF rebels were thwarted. Near Arab Lidj, Kobo Tarara, and Sar Amba there is sporadic gunfire. Intelligence from locals say the TPLF leaders leading the war on the Shawarabit front are former Addis Ababa commissioner and federal police commander. Their names are Yehidego and Gurmai Mangius. After losing thousands of fighters in Shawarabit, TPLF is sending reinforcement from Kimise. In Men's, rebels controls Mihal and there is intense fighting near Basha area. In western Wello, Tigray rebels control Dagolo town, and there is intense fighting near Jama and Mita Yudo. In Yudo area, rebels are camped at a school. In Dagolo town, rebels are kidnapping Amhara youth and forcing them to fight for them. In northern Wello, Daunt County, rebels are moving in and around Magat. In Daunt, near Sizime, rebels killed unarmed Amhara farmers, and in response, Amhara militias killed several rebels. Lastly, Amhara forces destroy 1 tank and 4 TPLF trucks that attempted to pass through Wag Hamra region from Mekelle. Thank you for watching and please